Welcome to DirtTrackFreaks.com, the weekly podcast that's slinging dirt coming out of Turn 4, with your host and head freaks, Craig and Sean. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FreaksTracks, and on Facebook at Dirt Track Freaks. Freak Nation, it's time to get your freak on. Welcome, Freak Nation. I'm Sean Smoke, head freak here at DirtTrackFreaks.com. We've got a very special guest today, Ritchie Lewis Sr., Lucas Oil Products Director of Racing Operations. You can follow Ritchie at Swamp Racer and follow the Lucas Oil Dirt Series at Lucas Dirt on Twitter and Instagram. Ritchie, appreciate you joining us today here on DirtTrackFreaks.com.
Oh man, it's nice to be with all you freaks today. Looking forward to having a good conversation about Speed Week's coming up. You know, Golden Isles is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Ritchie, but we're just almost just a little over a week away. January 31st, we're going to be practicing down there. Then you're going to race the first on Friday night. The second, February the 2nd, will be the Saturday night race. Both, I believe, are playing $12,000 a win, and both are going to be points races, which is very important to all the guys that are doing the Lucas Oil Tour this year. But talk a little bit about some of the changes that are going on with the tour this year. I know this is the first race of the season. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening behind the scenes in the off season.
Well, we've worked a lot this year on, obviously when we got the schedule done, you get through the trade shows. This is a big time of year where you work on contingency sponsors, series sponsors. You take the time to enjoy some time with them at the trade shows. You work on new products. You work on, within Lucas Oil, we're working on some new products. You're going to see more exposure from the Lucas Oil side as we begin to move into 2019. There's some new car stuff. For years and years, Lucas Oil has had we've done a very good job, had a pretty good stranglehold on being able to keep your old passenger cars and trucks at a little high mileage stuff, but now it's for the newer vehicles. It's a completely new market for Lucas Oil, so we're looking forward to sharing that information, sharing everything that's done within the company. We are, and we want to display this as we move into Golden Isles and all the Speed Weeks. Right,
and a lot of as far as the late model series, there a lot of changes there. You think of some of the big names like Josh Richards going to drive for Clint Boyer. Bobby Pierce coming out of the Dunn Benson Ford. A lot of changes like that in the off season. We all know that the off season's better known as the silly season, but what kind of caught you off guard the most this year, and as far as the drivers swapping out?
Well, I believe at the end of the day, I think one of them is going to have some good showings this year. Is probably going to be people like a Brandon Overton, being in the ride there with Harold Hawley, and Harold's he's a very smart guy, and he does a lot to help keep us on the cutting edge of shocks and chassis stuff and aero and things of that nature. Has always been very good, from winning Busch Grand National championships in the day, and now that he's in the dirt world, he brings he enlightens a lot of people to a lot of things within that world. So you're thinking they're going to have a big showing this year. They're going to have a good time at Speed Week. So that should be a strong team. I know that I think the tires maybe threw them a curve in Arizona a little bit, but I think the car was solid at the end of the day, and I think you get them on some stuff and get Brandon to where a little more in Brandon's neck of the woods. And I think this red stuff down here in the southeast, him coming from not so far away like he does, I think he'll shine.
He's a Georgia boy.
Well. Yeah, he will. He'll shine. And Harold being from Alabama and them just kind of having a taste for this type of racing down here, I think that'd be good. I believe at the end of the day, Devin Moran is going to him and Wiley and all the folks there at Dunn Benson. I think they'll have a good season. That they should shine very, very well. See that they've announced now a new engine platform that they're actually pretty much going to be exclusive with the Pro Power RY45 stuff, which brings a lot of horsepower to those race cars. We'll see how the drivability with that thing works, deceleration and things of that nature, and how that helps the cars. Those sort of things are things that I think changing from the engine platform he's been on, it'll be a little different, because that engine package has a kind of a tendency to want to sell you into the corner.
Right.
It's not a real hard decelerating engine, so you can use that as another tool, a tuning tool, getting in the corners, getting back to the fuel like you want to. But man, they sure shine, especially on these big racetracks. I think they'll have a good Golden Isle Speedway with that platform.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first time Devin's ever driven for anybody that wasn't family related. Is that correct? I mean, because
well, yes and no. They kept the stuff up at their shop up in Dresden. Ty Torrig was the car owner, and that was Ty's stuff. The Case Bolt drove for him. It was in the tire, comes from the tire side of the business, if you will. But has always been a huge supporter of dirt late model racing. Has always been a huge supporter of touring series, if you will. And the Morans have always done that. I mean, the Donnie goes way back, and from the Stars days to the Have a Tampa days, UDTRA and Extreme. So they're kind of series minded people, right, if you will, and that's good for folks like us that are in the sanctioned body business, because it gives you another solid, stout name. So when you're out selling shows to a promoter, it just kind of gives you some good points to share with your promoter, and it excites them, it excites race fans, and hopefully it rings the cash register at the end of the day.
Exactly. And of course you got your points champion coming back, and Jonathan Davenport. A little bit of change behind the scenes with Davenport losing his chief engineer, but of course that 49 team, I believe, is still going to be strong in the 2019 season.
Well, we all know that Mark Martin's not going to accept anything this side of excellence.
Exactly.
I mean, you can slice that pie any way you want to slice it. At the end of the day, Mark Martin is not going to accept anything but excellence. Now, he's a great coach. He's a great mentor. He's been there. He's done that. So he has a good, solid understanding. And the way that Mark goes about business is second to none. I think he is very, very excited about this and being involved. He and Lance Landers, and Lance is probably one of the biggest unsung hero in the pit area. Lance does so much for so many people as well, and Lance and Mark being lifelong friends and business associates and partners, and then their business that they are in together really creates quite the team. Davenport is really and truly, he's in his prime.
Exactly.
We are seeing something here that I believe at the end of the day is as good as you're going to see. I mean, there's arguments between Jeff Purvis, Scott Blomqvist, Billy Moyers of the world,
right?
And I don't think there's I believe there's a seat at the table for Davenport when it comes to this as well.
Might be on the Mount Rushmore of dirt track racing.
Yeah, you got some great analogy, and I like that. Jonathan's come a long way too. When he was racing in the Carolinas and Georgia and stuff in his earlier years, and I can remember we had a conversation not long ago about I remember the first time I bought a tire from you, I went and bought a 55, and you said, man, this 20 would be a whole lot better. Yeah. He said, but I can do this 55 tonight, and I can take that thing over to Tri-County racetrack tomorrow night, and I'll have the right tire, and I can race all weekend on this tire.
Exactly.
And now, man, they go through them, as much as the rules will permit. With that said, I think, him and Josh, Jimmy Owens, the Don O'Neills of the world, I mean, my goodness. I mean, the talent pool is so deep. I mean, Scott really certainly hasn't taken a step backwards. I know his stuff, and I spoke to him before he went to Arizona, was all about changing. He's working on some different engine packages, engine platforms. Scott's working on some stuff that woe be unto them if he gets it figured out and he gets where he needs to be. You can never count the zero out, no matter where he's at. He's a phenomenal points racer. I still believe at the end of the day that the Pearson Jr. and them, Stuckey's had some health issues, but they went to Arizona as well, so they've already kind of shook the cobwebs out. Now they're ready to go. They'll come down here where they really shine and get in their neck of the woods. But I think that's good for those people, some of those chassis builders, that gives them that time of the year that they can go and spend time with customers, friends, and relationships on the West Coast. So that thing, it looked like it did pretty good this year. They had some weather issues, but that doesn't discriminate whether you look at soil or that
Ward of Outlaws
or whoever it may be. Weather doesn't care. Which
plays no favorites.
It does not, man. It just gets you. So with that said, I honestly believe at the end of the day that when you look at the winners that we had last year, you look at the competition that we had on the track last year, didn't make a lot of changes over the winter. We've written some new language. We've reached out. We use some expertise through the John Darby's of the world, who was the Sprint Cup, the Cup series director for years and years. We have a good relationship with John. He's helping us going forward. We're finalizing and finishing up our tire agreement, which will stay the same with Hoosier Racing Tire. We're proud of our relationship there with those folks. They do a tremendous job of supporting racers and people. A lot of people don't see or know everything that they do, and you kind of get caught up into that, the big bad wolves or whatever of the world with people that are successful. But most of those people are doing a lot for a lot of people too, and they don't oftentimes get their due. So we're proud of that relationship.
And from a tech standpoint, I know last year you had Steve Francis was in charge of that. Is that again going into 2019?
Oh, absolutely. Francis has bit.
He's all in, as
he's bit the bait, swallowed it all the way to the bottom of his belly. He's doing a good job. He and Amanda are expecting, and so there's going to be some logistical challenges. Both of them work for the series and are with the series each and every day. So we'll have us another little Lucas Oil baby here pretty soon to come along. But Francis done a really, really good job to be thrown in what he was thrown in. Back to the Harold Hollies, the Mark Martins, and the Kevin Rumleys of the world. The smarter your pit area is, the smarter your tech has to be, and the smarter your rule book has to be.
Exactly.
Everybody says, we don't want it to be NASCAR. We don't want it to be NASCAR. My point is that we didn't change a whole lot.
Right.
We've got a pretty good package. Everybody's taught, and we've done some aero testing. Block them noses off, stand them up, do this, do that, do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, air's the only free thing that there is.
Exactly.
And the more you can use it and utilize it to the betterment of competition and the racing, the product that the fan sees in the grandstands, the fan don't know the difference in a 15-second lap and a 17-second lap.
No.
Let me tell you what a fan can do. A fan can tell you the difference in a good race and a bad race.
He sure can.
And what he'll spend money on and what he won't or she will not spend money on.
Right.
And they'll spend good money for a good race. They don't want to go to a bad race for free.
Exactly.
So with that said, that's where we're at with it. We've listened to a lot of those people, and our cars look a little awkward sitting statically, but when they get on the racetrack, they get in position and those cars get planted. The air continues to plant that thing. You still see some aero pushes and stuff, but you're always going to see that. But the beauty of it is it recovers so much faster than it did before. Before, if you lost the nose for a long ways, all the way up till you hit the fence.
Right.
Now, if a guy crosses over your nose, aerodynamically speaking,
takes air off
the nose. The minute he's back out of the way, that thing plants again, and it goes right back at a much faster and a much better rate through dirty air than it does once it comes out of the blocked air. So with that said, you're seeing better racing, more passing, a lot of good things happening with regard to that.
And aero's here to stay in dirt track races. Like you said, it's the only thing that's free. It's not going to go away. I know the old school guys that look back, 20 years ago aerodynamics didn't matter. Well, guess what? It matters today. It's going to matter tomorrow, and it's going to matter next season and the season after that.
And it mattered then too.
Yeah.
We didn't recognize it as much. We didn't see it as much. The tires were not where they are today either. And there was just a lot of difference. It was great racing. I can remember watching Billy Moyer start 19th and whatever 6, 8, 10 lap, whatever it was, 19 laps in, I forget now, whatever it was, and he's leading the World 100.
Exactly.
So yes, the racing was good back then. I'll never be arguing that. That's what made us all fall in love with it. Was the racing being awesome. But at the end of the day, we went through a lull there, to where this thing was kind of teetering as to whether the racing was as good as it really needed to be. And I think that through some of those testing and then throwing an aero, and then the guys beginning to throw more aero packages at these things, and all of a sudden now they got them planted to the racetrack. Now they can steer.
Yep.
And as long as they can steer, it's amazing what can happen.
Exactly.
And we've worked in our tire package to where we try to keep them on the wrong tire, good tires, but on the wrong tire. Because if it'll just slow down just a little bit, those racers will take care of it.
Right.
They'll make a good race out of it. And that's why I tell a lot of promoters, don't go preparing this racetrack like Scott Bloomquist, Jimmy Owens, and Jonathan Davenport, and all these people are going to be there. That racetrack has no idea who's going to race on it.
Exactly.
It does not. It's just impossible. If you just give us your good, solid, standard racetrack, these guys and these packages will take care of the rest.
Right. They'll make it.
Don't over-engineer it.
Exactly.
Well,
you think about the Moyer example that you gave. I mean, look at Josh Richards last year. Started dead last. As a matter of fact, in the Saturday race at Golden Isles, he literally pulled onto the track as the field was going to the green flag. In 25 laps, he was leading the race and won the race by.
I think that says a lot, especially on a big, fast, wide racetrack. That is very aero dependent.
Yeah, he passed 24 cars that night.
You'll see more aero pushes at Golden Isles than you will at an East Bay.
Right.
Okay, it's just part of it. But at the same token, when they get that thing planted and they get it rotated and they arc the corner just right, and they can cut through it like cutting through a wake if you water ski or that sort of thing. Once they cut through that little bit of a wake right there and come out that other side without taking a dead push for 100 feet, and they continue that momentum with the engine packages that we have in the tires and air, they still are able to complete these passes. So it's made it a lot of fun for the fans and for the officials and for the drivers and the teams, and we're in a good position right now, and we want to continue that trend.
I like it, and it's going to be great, race fans. January the 31st, February the 1st, February the 2nd, right here at Golden Isles Speedway, right outside of Brunswick, Georgia, Waynesville, Georgia, if you want to get technical about it. Lucas Oil will be coming to town. 3 great nights of racing. Of course, Thursday night is just practice time, but then 2 big feature races that are points races for the Lucas Oil Series. Friday and Saturday night, $12,000 to win, and all the stars will be there, Ritchie. I appreciate you joining us on DirtTrackFreaks.com. Looking forward to a great weekend. And, of course, when we finish up there, we'll all be hopping in the car and heading to South Florida.
Can't wait to get there either. I love those people. One thing to remember is GIS Dirt. Get your tickets there. You can get tickets. I think there's a $5 discount if you buy your tickets in advance. It's $20, man. I mean, Johnny Langdale, Dana Smith, and all that group that they have there at Golden Isle Speedway, some of the finest human beings that ever walked the face of the earth. So please come out and support that. Support South Georgia racing. When the work and all the ethics that go behind that group, and it's a business team. That's a group of business people that have joined into what we all love as dirt freaks. Mm-hmm. We need to support those things. They give us a great set of grandstands. They give us a great racetrack. He's done a lot.
Fantastic facility.
It is, and he's not gouging people.
No.
He don't gouge you at a concession stand.
Exactly.
He doesn't gouge you as a vendor. He gets his. He's a businessman. He knows how to get his, and he's been very successful. But he's a very kind gentleman, and again, another guy that does a lot for a lot of people that most people will never know or understand.
Right.
So just support them at GISdirt.com. Get your tickets there. Come out, have fun. We're going to do a dirt racing outreach service at like 2 o'clock on Saturday. Autograph session starting around 3 o'clock on Saturday as well. So bring your kids, bring your shirt, bring your memorabilia. Make sure and get an autograph, and look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks again, Sean.
Looking forward to it, Ritchie. Said again, January 31st, February 1st, February 2nd, right here in Brunswick, Georgia at Golden Isle Speedway. Lucas Oil Boys will be there. Y'all come on out and be a part of all the racing action. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, Freak Nation. Join us here every Tuesday as we give you a new podcast right here on DirtTrackFreaks.com. Till next time, let the rough side drag.